Story we were getting from President just a few weeks ago.
When we saw the first cases of this virus back in the spring, I don't want anybody to be alarmed, but I do want everybody to be prepared.
Now back to the Council on Foreign Relations Symposium.
Despite being a not terribly dangerous virus in and of itself on a scale of influenza dangers.
Having said that, it lacks certain signatures, certain molecular signs which are associated with the 1918 pandemic strain, the 1957, and the
Good pause. There they are, admitting it's not even really dangerous. Now they come back and they talk about how they need to lie to the public, and they giggle and snicker and enjoy.
Alex Jones.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen, halfway into this transmission today. We're going to open the phones up in the next segment on any issue you'd like to discuss. The global cap and trade now in the Senate. They're set to vote on it next few days, next few weeks. God only knows what these demons are going to do. 1-800-259-9231. Al Gore bragging how much money he's making off all the scams. 1-800-259-9231 will get you up and on the air. A bunch of other financial news. But right now I'm playing CFR audio blog. They publicly put this out, interspersed with clips of their fearmongering. Now, this was recorded a little less than a month ago. Council on Foreign Relations, we've got the names of the federal government and hospital and university heads talking about how they need to use sound bites and how crazy people are getting folks to not take it. And then they get into, we need to act like there's not enough of it to create the perception, artificial scarcity. And there's all this giggling and snickering on the conference call. It's so much fun to manipulate and feel powerful in your little white lab coat and work for the government and to feed their kids fluoride water and eat GMO too. They love it. This is your enemy. Let's go back to them.
It's a short one. It has a technical name, PP1F2, and that is missing in the 2009 virus.
We're also making steady progress on developing a safe and effective H1N1 flu vaccine, and we expect a flu shot program will begin soon. This program will be completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary.
Good morning, Rory Lanceman. I'm a member of the New York State Assembly. We had a hearing, a 12-hour hearing on H1N1 earlier this week, and much of it focused on the mandatory vaccination that the New York State Department of Health has ordered of almost all healthcare workers in New York State. And I was wondering if you could offer an opinion on whether you think such a policy is effective and sound.
I have a very strong opinion, and that is, I think that's appropriate.
Completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary.
Good pause.
The news.
Now, see, that's how they operate. Obama comes out and says, I don't think it's racist to criticize me. All of his surrogates say it. He gets to play the good cop. They play the bad cop. They come out all over the country. The feds try to force it to the states. Their own manuals say it. And then Obama's like, I'm not making anybody. He's the good guy. Back to the tape.
Completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary, completely voluntary.
The news media is hyping the swine flu as though it's the next death mission, and everybody's getting frightened. And do you agree with that? No, I don't. From what I've seen, certainly some vulnerable people have died, but not masses of people like the Black Plague or anything.
The truth is that many Americans are not buying into the swine flu scam and are refusing the vaccine. However, there are those who are buying into the scam and do intend to vaccinate themselves and their families. But there are those who are on the fence about the vaccine. And what do the experts recommend to get them to take the flu shot?
I think what would work better would be to say that there was a shortage and people tend to line up more for something that's in demand. We saw that there was one season where really people lined up all night to get a flu shot, and I mean.
ABC News puts the H1N1 vaccine artificial scarcity tactic
and
to
with
the test.
Supplies of the vaccine running low, doctors around the country are now finding themselves overrun with nervous parents. Here's ABC's Rachel Martin.
For weeks, doctors' offices around the country have been fielding a flurry of phone calls.
We do not have any of the H1N1.
All right, stop it right there. Let's back it up to the CFR saying we need to create artificial scarcity, act like there's not enough. Then ABC News puts it to the test. I told you months ago this was the game plan. I know our enemy, and I'm going to get them. I'm going to be honest with the listeners. I haven't been able to sleep as much as I could in the past, and I thought it was coffee. So I've cut my coffee intake from 4 cups a day, which I space out so I can work 16 hours a day some days, to 1 cup in the morning, maybe 1 in the afternoon. So I've cut my coffee by more than half because instead of big cups, I'm having little cups. And I'm waking up in the middle of the night thinking about the carbon tax. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. worried about the New World Order, worried about how they're going to stage a new terror attack. I mean, this is real, not just intellectually studying it. When I get up here and yell and scream and get mad, I apologize for that. But at the same time, maybe I shouldn't apologize. We need to be upset about what's happening. I mean, I've read hundreds of CFR publications where they admitted 30 plus years ago they were going to set up a North American Union by stealth. That's a quote. And where they admitted they were going to bankrupt the banks and the economy to bring in the one world government and the carbon tax and a one-child policy and how they're going to tax everything we do and control our lives and how they'd militarize the police and train them to use rubber bullets and tasers on us before they train them to actually shoot us. And now police departments all over are announcing if you run, they're going to shoot you in the back. And they are shooting people in the back and killing people and covering it up. And I don't want to hate the police. What are you doing? You're becoming Nazis. The system is out of control. And then I see this CFR audio that this video director's cut in with news clips where they're saying, okay, most people aren't taking the shot because of what's on the insert. And then they admit it isn't really bad. That H1N1 it isn't really a very dangerous flu virus. It's very weak. Well, how do we do it? Well, we say there isn't enough to create artificial scarcity and a panic to get it. And that's what they do everywhere. Folks, I remember in January having on the air reporters and city managers and emergency managers in Illinois, Indiana, New York State, Arizona, and getting the documents from the state, secret, saying, get ready for millions dead, get ready for mass graves, get ready for the militia to attack your police department, get ready for the veterans to attack you with bombs. Then I got the Homeland Security and MIAC report saying it. Admitting Homeland Security's for good Americans, good people who were against the foreign bank takeover. And then telling police, you're going to do a Homeland Security drill for terrorists attacking your tiny police department. And we're going to do a drill where you come to the airport and we deliver you the flu vaccine and the militias try to steal it. A role-playing scenario to demonize militias. This was in January. So I got on air in January and March and I said, they're going to stage some type of big flu deal. And I posted the audio of that, months after it happened. It was live, but then we reposted it and said, look, I was right. I'm not that smart. I knew they were going to artificially, back in April, they delivered the seasonal flu with armed guards in Austin to the hospitals and had police parked around the clock out front the hospitals as if people would hear there was a flu shot there and run in and kill everybody for it. That was done to manipulate the police so the word got out that it was special so you would all go take it. And so the doctors and nurses would get the word it was special. And now they're doing it with the H1N1. And I told you, they keep announcing, we've got the flu shot, the H1N1, and in a big city, a few thousand morons will show up. They'll be lined up going, they ran out. They didn't run out. They have 18-wheelers full of it that are refrigerated. They're doing that so the news can show long lines. Now, I told you that. Here's the Council on Foreign Relations in a meeting admitting it. Here it is. Then we cut to the news, reporting the same thing. Okay, we
I
lost
think what
audio.
would work better would be to say that there was a shortage and people tend to line up more for something that's in demand. We saw that there was one season where really people lined up all night to get a flu shot, and I mean.
Back it up again. I want to play that one more time. Then it cuts to ABC News a week after this was aired, doing the exact thing. And listen how they laugh. It's so fun to have all these government and university and medical heads. We list them here in the article at Infowars.com. CFR, vaccines no more harmful than tuna sandwich.